All right, everybody, welcome to B.O. Boys for Monday, February 23rd. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live remotely. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. Clayton, it is a snowstorm in New York City. There is snow everywhere. Informer. Places covered in white, powdery, soft snow, and we cannot leave where we are right now. There is a stay in your homes warning all through New York City. Nobody can leave. Clayton, do you see anyone in the streets? That window that is behind your piano back there, which I got to say, where you are in New York City right now, it looks pretty nice out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing mounds of snow behind your piano. Do you have your staff just constantly shoveling throughout the night? Is that what's happening over at Casa de Clayton?
Yeah, and I'm so high up.
Mm.
I'm on the 700th floor,
Mm.
and so I'm above the snow.
Got it. Got it. Because, I mean, you have to be about that high to be above the snow in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
It is bad out there. So stay in. Order, of course, order Uber Eats, Seamless. Use every single app at the same time.
See who
That
gets there first, and then
yes,
cancel the ones that are close but not there.
yes, that is absolutely the way to go right now. Is turn it into some kind of futuristic death match with your food delivery services. Um, it is a snowy night, but I don't think that really affected the box office weekend. I don't think we could chalk any of what we're about to say up to the snow.
No.
That this is separate of the snow. Maybe the day days on Monday in New York City might be down a little bit, but the weekend numbers are not snow related. So Clayton, can you give us a box office plow for the weekend of Friday, February 20th? 20th, yeah. Friday, February 20th.
Number one, Goat made $17 million, down 38%. No theater change. It's at $58.3 million in its second weekend of release. Number two, Wuthering Heights made $14.2 million, down 57%. It's at $60 million in its second weekend of release. Number three, A Newbie, I Can Only Imagine 2 made $8 million in its first frame. Number four, Crime 101 made $5.7 million, down 59%. No theater change. It's at $24.7 million in its second weekend. Number five, Send Help made $4.5 million, down 49%. It lost 175 theaters. It's at $55.5 million in its fourth weekend of release. And then number six, A Newbie, How to Make a Killing, $3.5 million in only 1,625 theaters, but only 3.5 in its opening weekend. That's your top six.
And I think we got to go all the way down to lucky number 11 because we got another newbie in there. Epic. Elvis Presley in concert from Baz Luhrmann. That opened to $3.25 million in only 325 theaters. So a $10,000 per screen average for the Elvis documentary. Now, Clayton, I bring that up because you look at number 6 and lucky number 11, they are just thousands of dollars apart. And that is with the Sunday estimates. I do think that when the Monday actuals come in, you might have Elvis Presley footage. That is what this movie promises, is that we found new Elvis casino footage during the making of the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie. They just found new Elvis in a casino footage. They hastily put it together, and that collection of old Elvis footage is basically neck and neck with the new Glen Powell movie. That is a effing disgrace. That is a disgrace. If you are Glen Powell and you're waking up right now in Malibu or the hills or wherever you are,
Laguna
giant
Beach.
farm, Laguna Beach, or maybe he's one of these guys. I got my big farm on Montana that I go out to clear my head after opening weekend. I don't
Oh,
know.
you mean like a phony?
Yeah. Let's say it. Yeah, like a phony with his phony farm in Montana. I don't know where he's waking up, but he's waking up and being told, Mr. Powell, you're neck and neck with old footage from Elvis in a casino.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, is it the footage of Elvis dying on the toilet? No, it's not even that interesting. It's just him in a casino singing.
And it's Elvis on the verge of being fat Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of pudgy Elvis.
Yeah.
So Glen Powell, this guy who is regimented on what he eats and how he looks,
mm-hmm.
is getting beat by pudgy Elvis.
Yes. Yeah. The Elvis didn't have access to the shot back then. Like I'm sure Glen Powell's taken 3 a days.
You mean chicken and broccoli?
Of course, chicken and broccoli.
Elvis didn't have chicken and broccoli. They didn't have chicken and broccoli back then.
Yeah. But Glen Powell, he's got access to the best chicken and broccoli that he can inject multiple times a day, and he's getting beat by pudgy Elvis at the theater. Not even fat Elvis. See, that's the thing. Pudgy Elvis is that in between classic, just heartthrob Elvis, and then fat Elvis, which is a very interesting object to look at. We're all fascinated by fat Elvis.
Yeah.
This is just transitional pudgy Elvis footage. And by the end of the Monday actuals, pudgy Elvis footage from a casino very well could finish ahead of quote unquote movie star Glen Powell. This is a disgrace.
I mean, it was, I was going to use the defense of how few theaters this movie was in, but then you look at the Pudgy Elvis movie and you see it's only 350 theaters.
Yeah.
So
10,
Glenn doesn't have a leg
screen
to stand on.
No.
Yeah.
Is this the end of Glen Powell? Now, listen, people are going to say, Pat, we know you're all in the bag for his Anyone But You co-star, Sydney Sweeney. You talk her up for months and months and months, saying how she's a movie star. Don't worry about any of these 3 small movies she's doing. She's got the big one coming out. There's no chance she's ever going to have to be on a reality show. I know people are saying that about me, but I've never had a bias against Glen Powell just because I'm such a booster of his Anyone But You co-star. Coming out of that movie, I'm like, these are both potential giant movie stars. And then one took the path where she just kept going up and up and up. And listen, Glen Powell, he had twisters, but there is something about that hit that feels like it's already been 30 years since that movie came out and did business. There's something about twisters, like obviously it exists, but I think he's blown whatever he had from Anyone But You in that.
Well, because his success has been in legacy sequels, right? Maverick, he popped in that.
Mm-hmm.
We forget he was in Maverick. Twisters, and now, with Anyone But You, that was a two-hander, and we're seeing which hand is stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, Glen Powell's one of his big breaks was sort of a legacy sequel, Everybody Wants Some, which is sort of a spiritual legacy sequel to Dazed and Confused, right?
Wasn't a hit though, but yeah, we all liked it. We all liked him in it. Yeah.
But it was the first time people sort of saw him, I feel like, and were like, okay, who's this guy? Whoever saw that movie. Running Man, I think, did a lot of harm. Again, Chad Powers is doing nothing but harm.
That's the big one.
It's like you're trading. Sure, your name's over it. You're like a producer on it, whatever. It's a paycheck, but it's costing you bigger paychecks, and it's costing you not even the paychecks, but it's costing you chances at bigger films. Like Glenn feels like a weird in between generation where he's too old to be like Austin Butler or Timmy Chalamet, and he's getting overshadowed by them. Like, I don't think if you're looking to cast a guy in a lead right now, you're looking at Timmy, you're looking at Austin. You're not looking at Glenn as much.
You're looking at Jacob Elordi.
You're looking at Jacob. Exactly. You're looking at Jacob Elordi.
He's in a weird. Glen Powell is in this weird spot where his mentor was Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise is already mentoring Timmy and these other stars. You know, like Glen Powell is sort of in a lost generation, a forgotten generation. He's in the generation of the Hemsworths, but he never was a Marvel guy.
Yes.
So he's a man with no country in some ways, because
is he a Chris Pratt generation?
Yes, he's a Chris Pratt generation, but Chris Pratt has his Marvel character to fall back on, and he's Mario, and Glen Powell really has no one to hang out with. I mean, aside from the box office stuff, you know, he can't hang out with Jacob, Timmy, Austin Butler. He can't speak their language. He doesn't know what they're talking about. When Timmy starts saying Riz, Glenn's like, "What? Huh? RZA, the rapper? No.
Do you mean Riz Ahmed, who's a very good actor?"
And Timmy's like, "Okay," and he just sort of does the thing, smile, turns back towards Jacob, and they're like fake talking. They're doing the thing of like, okay, let's just pretend that we're talking so he'll leave us alone. So he'll go away. And then he walks away, and then, like, you know, Jacob, you know, he looks over Timmy, just like towers over him, looks down at Glenn, and he's like, okay, the old man's gone. The old man's gone. But then when Glen Powell goes to try and hang out with Leo, Tom Cruise, and act as a peer, they're just giving him advice on like where to find parking in Beverly Hills, you know, and giving him advice on how to audition for movies, you know, what camera to use for a self-tape, because they know they're like, you're at that level, right? You still have to send in self-tapes because you're just starting out.
Yeah. It's a weird place to be. And like, we went through what's coming up for him, and it doesn't look like there's anything that's going to really pop.
No. Yeah, there was nothing on there. And he doesn't have the luxury of the generation his age of being able to just be in Avengers Doomsday. Because that's his generation. His generation is Hemsworth and Chris Pratt and all of the superheroes who, yes, that whole genre is dead, but they could still cash in every couple of years for an Avengers movie.
And then look at something like Crime 101. It's not Bobo, but it's doing a lot better than we expected.
Yeah, because at the least, people say, oh, Thor is in a movie. They might not know Chris Hemsworth's name, but they see his face on a poster, they see the Punim, and they say, oh, Thor guy's in a movie. Glen Powell doesn't have a Thor guy to his credit.
Yeah.
Where at least people could look at Glen Powell and say, oh, you know, I don't know, Hyper Man is in a movie.
Nailed it.
There's nothing. He's the Running Man. No one's going to say, oh, Running Man is in How to Make a Killing.
God, it's sad to say, but I do feel like that when you look back at his career, and if it does end up going the trajectory that we think it's going to go, like Running Man is going to be the thing that stopped it dead. And it's ironic because it's called The Running Man, and it stops his career dead in its tracks.
Yeah. Also, people could go running and they could run straight into traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens. They're running. They're listening to a podcast. Maybe it's the B.O. Boys. Listen, we've heard this from the great podcast Jesus, Kirk Minahan, that there were times he would listen to the B.O. Boys. He would hear something ridiculous that Clayton said. It would upset him. He would lose his trajectory running, and an accident almost happened. That happens when you listen to podcasts while you're running. And that seems to be the situation that the running man found itself in, was listening to a podcast. Clayton said something absurd, got confused, ran straight into a car.
I do think listen, Glenn took this, he read the script, he took the gig. I know Paramount sort of was in flux and threw this movie under the bus or whatever, but I do think Edgar Wright should be in director prison for stopping Glenn's career dead. Like Chad Powell, I know, like if you're Edgar Wright's, representation in the court case, they're going to show all these slides of Chad Powers and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that doesn't matter as much as being in a stinker of a wannabe blockbuster movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And Edgar Wright is going to be allowed to go free after this. That is the situation that our box office criminal justice system finds itself in, that I don't think Edgar Wright is going to do any jail time for The Running Man. I think he's going to be free to walk the streets, to take meetings, to read scripts, to write scripts, to pitch projects. That is what is going on now. Edgar Wright is walking freely, pitching projects, meeting with movie stars. He's at Spago probably right now, and it is, as we record this, it is 6 a.m. in the morning in LA. I imagine Edgar Wright is awake, meeting with a movie star at Spago, pitching his next project. And that is after what he did to Glen Powell. And let's not forget what he did to Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes. I mean, he's a double murderer.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't think has she been seen since? Since what was that movie where she was, she would have the bed?
The Soho movie. No, she did.
Last Night in Soho.
No, but she did a huge bomb after that. She did Furiosa.
Right. Okay, so that was sort of a
but he definitely
murder.
Wounded her. She was wounded.
That's an attempted movie star murder at the least. Last Night in Soho. So yeah, listen, Glen Powell is a victim here. He's a victim of Edgar Wright for sure. When they make the documentary, the 6-episode documentary about Edgar Wright, and it should have just been a movie, but it's going to be a 6-episode streaming series about the murders of Edgar Wright. There's an episode or two about Glen Powell and The Running Man, how he killed that career. Yeah, it's just looking ahead. Here's, when we're looking at what Glen Powell has on the docket, he does have a new movie completed that comes out in November of this year. And it is called The Great Beyond, and it's directed by JJ Abrams. So the director of the 2 of the 3 Star Wars final trilogy movies. JJ Abrams. The Great Beyond, is this going to be an alien thing? I don't know. It's going to be a JJ Abrams released by Warner Brothers, comes out in November.
Oh, so is it going to be a cover of a Spielberg movie like Super 8 was?
Yes. Is this going to be is this going to be a remake of Disclosure Day?
I feel like that's probably what it is.
Later.
He'll just remake Disclosure Day, make it more confusing, worse directed, put Sabotage in there, put a Beastie Boys song in there. Yeah, I think that, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that doesn't make me feel like it's going to turn Glen Powell's career around.
Well, that movie stars Glen Powell, and his co-lead is going to be Jenna Ortega. So
Well, I'd be
this is
excited
kind of,
about that if she wasn't on such a skid right now, other than Wednesday season 2, which she wrote, directed,
of course.
starred in, catered,
Yep. Yep. Behind the
um,
lens, in front of the lens. Yeah.
choreographed,
Yeah.
wrote all the
the dance sequences.
music.
Wow. All original Jenna
Jenna.
songs and score. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not the Strumo Boys, huh? But that
Huh.
sounds like a must stream. Is the new season of Wednesday. But yeah, movie wise, she's on a cold streak. Glen Powell is clinging to life. Maybe we won't say he's dead yet, but this movie star is on a gurney, and they're saying, "Do we pronounce him dead? Just come on, I got to get to lunch. Do we pronounce this movie star dead? Can we just say the time and then just throw him in the incinerator?"
But he's not outside the gate hanging with Chauncey and Lala Crocodile yet.
No, because Lalo Crocodile never was a star. Chauncey
Yeah.
never was a star.
Well, Glenn was never a star either.
Listen, Glenn had the run. He had Twisters. He had Anyone But You. He's not in the same situation as Chauncey
Stop it.
and Lalo
Listen,
Crocodile. Are you comparing Glen Powell to Chauncey the Bear from Imaginary?
no, what I'm saying is that don't use star the way idiots use that word. Because he was not a star. He was not a butts in the seats guy.
He was a on the rise, about to be a movie star. Coming off of Anyone But You and Twisters.
He had the possibility of being a movie star. Yes, I will give you that. He was not a star.
He was someone who was in a different league than Chauncey the Bear from Imaginary. Chauncey the Bear from Imaginary is not being buried in Hollywood. Glen Powell, if his stardom expires and he is pronounced a fully dead, not a movie star, just fully dead, they're burying his movie stardom in the gates of Hollywood. He's earned, I think, at least a plot. Chauncey the Bear, Lala Crocodile, they're locked out, and they've got to go die in Pasadena or something like that. Their remains will not be in Hollywood proper. That is the difference here.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So he's clinging to movie stardom life. And The Great Beyond, that is the last medical intervention that is going to happen, is this JJ Abrams movie that comes out in November.
And I don't think the thing with JJ Abrams is, I mean, he may be a name in Hollywood, he's connected, but to people now, he's Gracie Abrams' dad. Right? He's not, what does he do? Like, he's not a guy that people care about fan base wise. Does he have JJ Abrams, does he have a fan base? The people clamoring for a new JJ Abrams movie? I think Hollywood's like, well, we got to give JJ Abrams a movie because he knows everybody.
Yeah. I mean, to the extent he has a fan base, it's for the TV shows. It's for people saying, we want a new 6-episode reboot of Fringe.
But that dude,
he's got a WB fan base.
Those shows are 1,000 years ago. His success on TV is 1,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah, remember when a show would get canceled and the fans of the show would send things to the executives to get it uncanceled?
Yes.
That was a very 2000s thing to do. I feel like his shows were the shows that would always happen to, Alias and Fringe. That is a thing where the people who would have done that, they are in their 60s and 70s now. The people who would have sent in, I don't know, ketchup bottles because the character on Fringe liked ketchup on his hamburgers. I don't know. I've never watched it, but they would send ketchup bottles in, uncancel the show. Those people are 60, 70 years old at this point. That is his fan base for people who want to see specifically a JJ Abrams production.
He just had a show that only lasted one season on HBO Max, starring the long-haired blonde guy from Lost that nobody was looking for,
Okay.
called Duster. Co-created it, lasted a season, canceled.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, when you look at the JJ Abrams movies, he's a guy who just gets hired on to direct movies that were going to happen whether he was there or not. He's directed Mission Impossible 3, 2 Star Trek movies, and The Force Awakens. His one sort of somewhat known, just on his own, written, directed is Super 8, which basically was just a movie meant to trick people into thinking that Spielberg directed a new movie. And this Great Beyond with Glen Powell and Jenna Ortega is going to be that. This is just JJ Abrams with no IP behind him. I don't know. I'm all up for giving one more medical intervention for Glen Powell, but this ain't it. This feels like an experimental surgery that we all know isn't going to work, but let's cut him up anyway and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's stick some tubes and, slice him and see if that helps.
Well, because it's going to have to resuscitate 3 careers. It's going to have to movie careers. It's going to have to resuscitate J.J. Abrams' movie directing career, which he hasn't done anything since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That Star Wars movie everybody hated.
Mm-hmm.
Glen
that started
Powell,
in a Fortnite as a Fortnite game.
Yeah. It'll be remembered as a Fortnite game.
Yep.
Jenna, who is not at the point where Glenn is, but it's going to have to resuscitate JJ, Glenn, and to some extent Jenna.
Mm-hmm.
And that's too many.
Yeah.
It's
you
too
can't
many.
do surgery on 3 people at the same time.
No.
Just the doctor running around to 3 different gurneys in 3 different rooms. Listen, it would be a great scene in a mid-90s Jim Carrey movie where Jim Carrey was faking his way through being a surgeon, and then you get to the point where he's accidentally scheduled 3 different surgeries at the same time in 3 different rooms, and he's bouncing. It'd be an amazing scene in a 90s Jim Carrey movie, directed by Tom Shadyac.
Yeah.
But this is real life here. This is real movie careers. And Great Beyond is trying to resuscitate 3 at the same time. It's not funny. It's not funny.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. This is not a mid-90s Jim Carrey movie directed by Tom Shadyac.
So let's talk I Can Only Imagine 2.
Mm-hmm.
8 million. Not great. Doesn't seem like there's much going on here.
Mm-hmm.
With this. I mean, I think we talked about this. What is this sequel actually going to bring to the table? It feels like the church buses weren't super out in force for this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, listen, it's $8 million more than the theaters had before.
Mm-hmm.
But unless they bought a lot of popcorn and now and laters and, jujubes.
Wafers, why aren't these theaters on a weekend when a church bus movie is coming? Just get a box of Nilla wafers and, scratch it out and just put Body of Christ on it and sell some Body of Christ at the concession stands.
I mean, you'd have to hire a priest.
Yep.
Or at least an actor to dress like a priest.
Or just one of the concession workers, a teenager or an old man who can't get Social Security and his family doesn't want to know him. Whoever's working the concession stand, you put a white collar around them and you have them bless the concession stand. Let them bless the whole thing. Bless the Juji Fruits, bless the Mike and Ikes, and then bless the vanilla wafers, and you write Body of Christ on it as the church bus pulls off.
I feel like the if it's a kid giving these out, he at least had to be an altar boy.
Yes. And make that a recruiting tactic of these theaters is say, altar boys, I know you're looking for an escape. You're looking for a hiding spot. Get away. Come be an altar boy at the AMC down the street.
Mm-hmm.
We won't listen. It'll be different here. We promise. That's what Adam Aaron of AMC could say when he's recruiting altar boys to work concessions at AMC. We won't. We won't do it. Just come here. I think that and then you have the altar boys come there. They bless the concessions. The church bus movie opens. Boom, they're buying. All of this is blessed. The snow caps are blessed. The Mike and Ikes are blessed. And we've got Body of Christ that we could sell you in a bucket.
And then they separate the blessed candy from like regular people aren't going to buy this blessed candy, right? They're not going to get stuck with the blessed candy.
Well, when they buy it and this is this blessed, then you just whisper it doesn't mean anything. It's fine.
Cool.
It's fine.
So you put it back with the general population after that showing.
Yes. Yeah. When they come to see Goat, you just mix it back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would help on a movie like I Can Only Imagine 2 is if you could really super sell that audience. So even if it's a smaller weekend, it's only making 8 million, let them think the concessions are blessed. Let them think that you've got the body of Christ. Put some, blood of Christ in the soda machine. Just cherry Coke. No. That's the blood of Christ. When you come see, I Can Only Imagine 2. We bless the soda machine. The guy who delivers all the syrups, he's a priest. He blessed it. It's fine.
Yeah, and they can also just overflow one of the water fountains and have that be the holy water that you can bless yourself with before you leave.
Yes.
Just plug it up, and then you put your finger in and you do the blessing.
Yeah. Say we flew this in. This is from Assisi. This water. It's holy water. Mother Teresa bathed in it. 100 years ago. So, I think that's one way to take advantage of that audience, which theater should always be thinking, how do we take advantage of an audience? I think. Listen, we talked the big thing. What I Can Only Imagine 2 is it's a sequel to a musical biopic. And I think these church bus audiences knew all the good stuff in this band's life was covered in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they know his story more than anyone. And they know, listen, nothing's really happened to this guy since the events of the first movie. He's kind of just like had a steady couple of years of just solid success. And there's nothing dramatic in this. And I'm sure the priests and they were trying to talk this up at the churches the last few weeks. I'm sure these sermons were trying to pitch I Can Only Imagine 2 as a must-see. But the people in the pews knew, I don't know, nothing happened to this guy.
Well, okay, so I did a little bit of research into this movie. As in, I read a synopsis of the plot.
Wow.
And so apparently the movie is a lot about, don't make a mockery of this, is his son and him dealing with his son's medical issues, which I'm not going to get into because I don't know what they were.
Okay.
But what I'll say here, just as somebody talking about box office and not talking about somebody's personal life and the maybe tragic, maybe sad things going on.
Okay. And don't make a mockery of it. Don't make a mockery of it.
I won't. The son's not in the band.
Wow.
So it's a movie about the band, and it's a movie about a guy in a band, and the son's not in the band, so I can see why people are like, well, okay, peace and love, thoughts and prayers. But if it's not like a Wolfgang, Van Halen situation,
Mm-hmm.
where the son is playing an instrument,
Mm-hmm.
the interest might not be there.
Right. Right.
And again,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not making a mockery of the son's medical condition. I don't know what it is.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not. I don't know what it is, and it's sad. I'm assuming, and I don't want to make a mockery of it, and I'm not. But I think as a viewer, somebody going in just to watch a movie, because obviously they made it into a movie, so it's there to be talked about.
But not mocked. Do not.
But
I feel like you're veering towards you want to mock something, but
no, this is a talk, not a mock.
okay.
What I'm saying is that, yes, this is not a member of the band, so maybe people are less interested.
People they love the first one because the first one's about the band. It's about rock and roll. And I could only imagine too, you're saying, not mocking, isn't giving people the rock and roll story that they got from the first one. And that's what they wanted.
That's what I'm assuming.
And you look at this weekend, you had the Elvis movie, a movie that is giving you rock and roll that I think now a church bus audience would be into. There was a time in Elvis's time, the church bus crowds of that day were yelling devil, blasphemy, he's shaking his hips, he's being provocative. But that's, 50, 60 years ago. Nowadays, I think the church bus crowd looks at Elvis Presley as a safe choir boy. And some of that audience probably went to go see Epic, the Elvis Presley in concert movie this weekend to get their rock and roll fix.
Because they're like, we're not going to see Elvis's kid.
Yes. So it's a little underwhelming. All right, let's get to these top two here to get through this. And just real quickly, just got to say again, Send Help, another great weekend. This movie is on its way to probably 65 million or so domestic, 100 worldwide. Great hit, Sam Raimi. That is a director who should never see the inside of a prison cell. In terms of director jail, I don't know what he's done in his real life, but unlike Edgar Wright, Sam Raimi should proudly walk the streets free.
Yes,
after
agreed.
Send Help. So Wuthering Heights, number 2, 14.2 million domestic, dropped 57%. It's at 60 million domestic. It's at, as Deadline wants to keep telling us, Anthony D is for the worldwide box office. Keeps telling us Wuthering Heights is at 140 million worldwide, 60 million domestic. I guess I'll throw this out there to start. This is not going to be a phenomenon. There was, in the weeks leading up to the release, there was hope. This is going to be a phenomenon. We're now sitting with the second weekend. Not a disastrous drop, but not one that makes you say this is going to be some kind of word of mouth sensation. It is what it is. It'll end up at like 80 million domestic.
Yeah, it's doing well.
Yeah.
I think, it's hard because we talked about this last episode, how it's hard not to be disappointed because our expectations, I think our personal expectations were high. I think we just wanted a pervy blockbuster.
Yes.
And
yes.
I don't think it's happening. And I think we're just disappointed in a generation of young people that refuse to be pervs.
Yes. Yeah. But there's also the thought out there of, was Wuthering Heights not pervy enough to satisfy that crowd?
Okay, I like that.
Because I do think the expectations on this were that this is going to be a complete perv fest and a complete just, nudity extravaganza. And
like Caligula.
Yes, people wanted Caligula, possibly. And it isn't that. It definitely is. I like this movie a lot. There is perviness in it. Jacob Elordi licks the wall. Read the B.O. Boys Substack. There's an entire dissection of the wall licking in that movie. but it just may not have been as pervy as they wanted it to be. Um, and that could be the reason why it's not breaking out, why it's not hitting those expectations, those great expectations. I mean, honestly, in some ways, Wuthering Heights what it ends up being comps a little bit to Great Expectations. Remember the late '90s Great Expectations?
Oh yeah, Ethan Hawke, Gwyneth
Ethan Hawke
Paltrow.
that had a similar trailer, not so much pervy, but it was like, this is going to be a really sexy. We're going to take your old book and we're going to sex it up, and that's kind of what this was. Now, this did a lot better. I'm looking at the '98 Great Expectations with Gwyneth Paltrow. That got out to 26 million domestic total in 1998.
Yeah.
Similar classic book, sexy trailer, hot young stars for the time. I think Gwyneth Paltrow and Ethan Hawke in '98 are pretty similar to Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. I mean, Robbie now is a bigger star than Gwyneth was in '98. Maybe not. Gwyneth Paltrow.
No, Gwyneth was so big. I mean,
every magazine cover, when magazines counted, Gwyneth Paltrow was on them twice a month.
Yeah, Gwyneth, yeah, and then she had Shakespeare in Love after that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, '98. That's a hard. Yeah, it's hard to have that historical context because now she is like firmly a star.
Right.
Like
right.
Gwyneth Paltrow is firmly somebody you would say is like a forever star.
Yeah, I think. Let me see. Okay, so the Great Expectations movie came out January of 1998. Shakespeare in Love came out December of '98. So basically almost a full year, the end of that year. Okay. So that's really what turns her from being a magazine cover, everyone knows her star, into an actual someone who's headlined a movie that's a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is kind of similar. It is kind of similar, these two movies. And Wuthering Heights is doing a lot better than Great Expectations did.
Great Expectations, but here's the thing: Great Expectations had a great soundtrack,
had the Pulse song in it. Yep.
Had great Duncan Sheik song, mm-hmm. Wishful Thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A band called Mono, right? With Life in Mono, wasn't that one of the songs on there?
But this has Charlie XCX, who I would say is
bigger than Mono
star.
At this point.
Bigger than Mono. I would say she's kind of on par to Pulp and Duncan Sheik in 1998. That's what Charlie XCX is right now. So it's very similar, and Wuthering Heights is doing way better than the '98 Great Expectations. I don't know if that is what you want to put on your one sheet right now in February of 2026 is, hey guys, we're tracking way ahead of the 1998 Great Expectations movie. But that might be the best thing you got going, is get that news out there.
So, but we are not surprised that Goat overtook the top of the charts. Good for original kids movies, which have not been doing so well. This is looking really good, really strong. Only 38% drop, 58 already. So, it's looking like this thing is probably going to, I mean, I would say it's going to go over 100, right?
Yeah, it'll take a little bit to get there. I don't think it is a slam doink that it's going to get to 100 million domestic. It's got to make another 42 million, but I think it's pretty possible it gets there.
Because what else is coming out for the rats?
I mean, Super Mario Brothers Galaxy, but that's about 4 or 5 weeks away.
Yeah, that's a long time for the rats.
And I mean, I think the big one, let me see when it comes out, is Hoppers, which comes out. Clayton. Hoppers comes out in a week, not this Friday. Hoppers comes out on Friday, March 6th. And Hoppers is going to be, I think, a monster. We'll get to that in a week.
What?
We preview
Hoppers? More like the hopper.
More like the hopper. Okay,
Because
expand
doesn't
on
the
that.
hopper mean a toilet?
Oh, okay. So you're going there. You're saying this is, in the words of Triumph, this is for you to poop on. Is this a Hopper movie? Uh, it's definitely going to be competition for GOAT. Whether you think Hoppers is going to be a huge smash or it's going to be a toilet bowl, it's going to pull from the same audience as GOAT. So GOAT has this weekend pretty free and clear as far as kid stuff. And then it's GOAT versus Hoppers on March 6th. And we will be tracking that battle.
Ugh. Hoppers.
Have to. But this is
crap.
Good for GOAT. And you can't have new kids franchises. Scott Mendelson, the box office daddy, the legend, the icon, says this all the time, is you can't have new franchises until you make the first one.
Yeah.
And GOAT, if it gets itself to 100 million domestic, then you could have GOAT 2. You could have GOAT 3. You could turn this into a proper franchise, but you can't start there.
The problem with GOAT 2 is that it was a little short-sighted to have the character that Steph Curry voices, which is the giraffe, to have him 20 minutes into the movie die texting and driving. I feel like it's an important message for children for sure, but if you're thinking franchise, if you're Sony,
right,
and you get this script and you're like, wait, so this is the draw to this movie is that Steph Curry is involved in this, and your giraffe character dies texting while driving 20 minutes into the movie, I don't see how you sequelize that.
Yeah.
Unless you have like his twin giraffe brother played by him.
I think that's the move. I think you meet him at the funeral. The brother's there. They've been estranged. One giraffe didn't approve of the other giraffe's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then because of the untimely death of that giraffe character from texting and driving, his brother is back on the scene, and he's also voiced by Steph Curry. And there you go. Yeah. I think that works. I think, listen, that unfortunate accident in the film GOAT is not going to keep them from making a GOAT 2 where Steph Curry is back on the court.
Yeah, it just feels like maybe have that happen in like the third movie.
Yeah, I think what could have happened here, and I don't have anyone on the inside of the GOAT production, but I could see what would have happened is Steph Curry might have been pegged to play a different character. Maybe originally it's like he's going to play the GOAT. He's going to do a kid's voice. He's going to play the GOAT.
Yeah.
And then he got that script, and he said, no, I want to play this giraffe. I want to stretch. And they were like, yeah, but the giraffe, the texting and driving, he goes, that's why. That's why. This is so important to me. To finally play a character who's an animal that gets beheaded from texting and driving.
And also he wants to stretch in the sense that he wants a long neck.
Yeah.
He was like, I've always wanted a longer neck.
Yeah. I want to see what I would look like with a really long neck.
And I've always wanted to like be able to stand on the court and put my mouth on the rim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to know what that would be like.
What it would taste like, what it would look like. Yeah.
What it would feel like. Yeah.
Yeah.
What it would look like to people watching it.
Yeah. Because Steph Curry was like, we're doing mocap for this, right? So I'm going to get to stretch my neck and taste the rim. Yeah. So I think that might have been what happened is that Steph Curry was originally supposed to play a different character in this. And then when he got the script, he changed it all up like the day before production started.
That happens. Actors will do that.
Yep. So I do think this is the potential beginning of a new animated franchise, but we'll see. GOAT versus Hoppers, 2 weeks. It's going to be very telling that weekend. Can Goat retain some of the audience from Hoppers? Very exciting to see that in a few weeks. So speaking of kids movies, we got an email from the great wannabe oh boy Jason. He titled it Toy Story 5 trailer. Hey guys, this is less a note about Toy Story than movies in general. We saw the trailer and my son said, looks fine. Maybe it will be like Transformers 1 and be great even though the trailers suck. This is something my family and I have talked about a lot. We discuss a lot of box office. I'm sure you approve. And the decline of trailers seems to be growing. Over and over, you guys, Clemmer, the B.O. Daddy, and Podcast Jesus have all mentioned bad trailers for good movies. What the heck is going on? How many good movies have had low openings on Monday morning? Everyone's fingers pointing at the marketing. I feel like movies need every chance they get to succeed. Bad trailers are the studio shooting themselves in the foot. Wanna be oh boy Jason. So Clayton, let's start Toy Story 5. You saw this trailer. Would you agree with Jason and Jason's son? Was that Jason's son, he said? Yeah, my son. That the trailer looked fine. Not great.
Listen, everybody knows where I sit with Pixar. But truly, this feels like the sacred cow of the of all of the Pixar franchises has been turned into Cars, been turned into a soulless cash-in sequel, which we never really thought would happen with Toy Story. Although I did boycott Toy Story 4, we know why. Everybody knows why.
Because it didn't open on Father's Day weekend.
In the Father's Day corridor, they
Yeah.
didn't care about Americans and they didn't care about fathers, and that was a huge stab in the back. And everything that's happened to them since, they deserve. Now, we know Inside Out 2 did Bafa Bobo was huge.
Mm-hmm.
But those were, people in the desert looking for water. There's still Pixar pervs who need it. This does look like the same old shit. The jokes in it are about, isn't it funny that we're doing the same thing over and over again? Like, isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I haven't read the online discourse, which back in my day we called that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess discourse is just people screaming at each other. Conversation
Mm-hmm.
is people having, opinions and respecting each other's opinions. But this probably is not doing well online because it does look terrible.
Okay.
But you have not watched it.
I have not watched it, but I have heard that an iPad is the villain, right? An iPad is the new toy that the other toys, I guess, have to conspire against to try and assassinate. Is that the basic gist of Toy Story 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that is. I don't know who. First of all, an iPad at this point feels like that's old news. I know the whole idea is the iPad is the new flashy toy and all the other toys are jealous and want to kill the iPad. An iPad almost feels like something that could have been the focus of the movie 5 years ago. Now it should be like a AI chatbot is the new toy.
Listen, Lisa Simpson had an iPad in 2010.
Right. Yeah, that was like season 18 of The Simpsons. We're in season 50 now.
Lisa gets an iPad.
Yeah.
It's like the classic Lisa saxophone episode, only it sucks shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And isn't funny.
Right.
And they sing at the end of every... they sing a corny-ass song at the end of every act break.
Wow. I gotta catch... I do have to catch up on the 40 seasons of The Simpsons.
You should.
To
celebrate the 800th episode, you should watch every episode you haven't.
Okay.
Is that is that our spin-off podcast?
Is me going insane watching 40 years of Simpson episodes that happened since Homer versus New York? Yeah.
Well, me clipping your eyes open like Clockwork Orange and forcing you to watch, the Lenny episode where we really get into like Lenny's backstory.
Yeah, it would be great YouTube content, and we are YouTubers. Hey guys, to see me try and push my own eyeballs out of their sockets just using my brain to stop
Yeah.
watching the Chief Wiggum backstory episode.
Well,
where
you got to
it's
watch the
Chief Wiggum as
episode.
a kid.
You got to watch the episode where they take Cletus the Slack-jawed yokel's wife, who I think is also supposed to be his sister and his mother, and really dig into her plight.
Right. How she always
Lorleen,
wanted to be a dancer.
yeah, we really get a heartfelt episode about Lorleen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is great YouTube spin-off content, is to see if I could swallow my own tongue before I have to finish that Cletus's wife backstory episode in season 28. So all to say, Toy Story 5, listen, it's a Toy Story movie, it's gonna be gigantic, but I haven't seen this trailer. But I guess real quick, trailers in general, have we seen do we truly notice a big decline in trailer quality where movies that end up being good have had bad trailers? That might be something we need to do a full B.O. Boys investigation into. That might
I think
like
Transformers
spin-off series.
1 as an example is hard because that was an impossible movie to get people to want to see because it was a dying franchise, and the style of the trailer was it
no
felt,
one wanted that movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
The trailer was always going to be pretty mockable. So I guess people who went to see it says they liked it more than the trailer gave credit for, but I don't think there's a version of a Transformers 1 trailer that it gets people excited. No one
Those were the
about that.
fans who were going to go see no matter what.
Yeah, I am trying to think of, are trailers truly worse than they've ever been? And like what was a great time for trailers? I mean, are we just inherently nostalgic for 90s trailers because we're Gen Xers? Hey guys, both of us equally
No.
Gen Xers. Like, I think there's probably trailer tropes that are going to just speak to our DNA more, but I don't know if trailers have truly gotten worse.
And I think you remember the great trailers and the bad trailers, unless they're terrible, terrible, laughable in such a memorable way, get forgotten. So older eras, those trailers that everybody loves are going to be shared. And now, since we're in the right now, you're seeing those trailers in the moment, you're going to judge the bad ones. But they'll just be forgotten. Like, I don't think they've gotten much worse that I can think of. But, again, and we could investigate this further.
We could. This could be a B.O. Boys Investigate special.
Well, what I would say is then to the Wanna B.O. Boys, Wanna B.O. Girls, Wanna B.O. people, send us, email us, theboboyspodcast @gmail.com, what you think are terrible modern trailers.
Yes. Do our investigating for us.
Well, just give us examples of a trailer you thought was terrible, and it could be for a movie that was good, or it could just be, this is a terrible trailer.
Yeah. The real gems, though, to find in this investigation that the listeners and viewers are going to do for us is, though, to find bad trailers for what ended up being good movies, quote unquote consensus, like good movies that had bad trailers. I think a lot of the trailer epidemic, we've talked about this, is good trailers for movies that are terrible that are not like the movie at all. I mean, the A24 trailer disease, which is the trailers make you think you're getting a totally different and better movie than what you get. Your Opus and Lamb type trailers.
Although, was Opus's trailer any good?
I guarantee if you watch it now, having seen that movie, the trailer is way better than the movie ended up being.
Okay.
But no, the A24 fake horror movie trailer that gets people somewhat excited for a movie that then is just a slow, talky drama and not a horror movie. But yeah, let's investigate in the sense that email us at theboboyspodcast@gmail.com with what you find from your own investigations. So that is it for today. Email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at the BO Boys Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Wanna BO VP of Interns Christopher. He's killing it with the vertical clips on those platforms. And of course, go back, listen to last episode where Christopher was in studio with us. Great job out of Christopher. Killing it. We got a body count. So go back and listen to that episode. Subscribe to the Substack. Got new stuff up there. Got some new things coming probably later this week on the BO Boys Substack. Link in the show notes. Subscribe there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are YouTubers. Hey, guys. And you're only getting half the story if you listen to the podcast feed. But still, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to this show, even though you're only getting half the story. And that is all I got, Clayton. I have to go shovel. Because I am not on the 100th floor, the 800th floor,
700th floor.
Wow.
Even.
I've never been invited, so I wouldn't know.
Never will be.
Know. But I've got to go shovel, and that is it. I got nothing left, Clayton.
So you're going to shovel a bunch of shit like you did with 834?
Not a rallying cry, not something that needs to be shoveled. It doesn't exist,
All right.
so you can't shovel 834 because it doesn't
It's
exist.
not the Sydney Sweeney stuff, the shit that you're trying to shovel?
Just that I have been a supporter of hers and on Team Sweeney, ride or die from day one all the way through the housemaid. Nothing to shovel there.
All right. Well, then there's nothing left to be said.
Great, so I could leave and go shovel.
Except for, until next time.
We'll smell you at the box office.
Nailed it.